Welcome to the 2nd Gen Colorado Canyon Superskidz installation guide. For this we'll need a 19, 18, 15, and 13 millimeter socket and wrench. I'll list them out as we need them. Here we're adding the first skid plate. For now we will only be hand tightening all the bolts. This is because we will need to make adjustments later to get all the plates to fit together and line up properly. These use 4 15mm bolts, 2 up front over the cross members and 2 in the rear over the OEM skid plate that cover the steering module. They will bolt onto the outside of the 5 bolts as the inside attach the skid to the frame. Now we'll be adding the Superskidz mounting brackets. We will need an 18mm socket and wrench as shown. Be sure to leave some play in the mounting bracket as we will need to make some adjustments later. Behind the cross member there will be 2 bolts on each side, driver and passenger. We will be putting the mounting bracket on the inside of the 2 bolts. Next up is to add the second skid plate. Start by bolting the back of the plate facing the rear of the truck. We accidentally put the bolts on upside down, so be sure to put them on the right way. Again, these will all be hand tightened as we will need to make some adjustments later to get the plates to line up. To finish up the second skid plate, we will be unbolting the first one from the OEM skid and putting the second plate over top as shown. Next we'll be adding the third skid plate. The third skid plate will bolt under the second where the 2 meet. Remember, don't be like us and put the bolts on the right way with the head on the bottom. To finish the third skid plate, bolt on the rear. We recommend doing 1 bolt on each side if you have a 4th skid plate to mount. Otherwise, disregard and finish bolting them on. This is because you will need to unbolt the skid again before adding the 4th skid plate. To mount the 4th skid plate, take the U-bolt facing up and join it with the coupler over top the crossbar. Be careful not to pinch any of the existing wires and cables being routed along the crossbar. You may need to relocate them. Add a washer to the top of the coupler and thread the nuts to the top of the U-bolt. The U-bolt requires a 13mm wrench. We're almost done. To finish the fitment of the 4th skid plate, unbolt the back of the 3rd skid plate and overlay the 4th skid plate as shown. Afterwards, we need to tighten all of the bolts to the mounting brackets, including the U-bolts that we just put on. Each of these bolts requires a 19mm wrench and socket. A trusty adjusty works pretty well too. This is the fun part. Grab an 18mm socket and wrench and tighten down the bolts which hold down the Superskidz mounting brackets. It's a tight fit, so be patient and make sure to get them properly tightened. After you've properly tightened all the bolts, you're done. Thanks for watching.